Hello everyone, and welcome to Symphony Preview at Helena Civic Television. My name is Betchey, the Director of Development for the Helena Symphony, and I'm here today chatting with Allan R. Scott. Welcome. Thank you so much for making the time to sit down with us.
Well, we've been doing Symphony Preview. We were talking about this before. It's been, well, since I've been here, so 18 years, so it's a long time doing this show. And it's good to be back. It feels some sense of normalcy when we do this show.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and it's been an exciting and unforeseen season so far. I was hoping you could speak a little bit about what we have to look forward to upcoming this season.
Right, so if we're watching now, you would have caught our opening night on September 19th, our second Masterworks on October 24th, and several Symphony Kids in September 26th and November 7th. Going forward, we have on November 14th our second Mozart by Candlelight. This sold out last year because we did it in a smaller hall. We'll be doing it not in the Civic Center, no audience still streaming online, free on YouTube. Mozart by Candlelight, not that every piece has to be Mozart, but it's still Mozart focused. But we've been also, this part of the year, the end of 2020, is also December 16th is Beethoven's 250th birthday. So a lot of people have been celebrating in what we're calling Beethoven 250. Every concert has peppered in some of Beethoven for the most part. And we will here as well. On the Mozart by Candlelight, Saturday, November 14th, it will be by candlelight. There'll be hundreds of candles and all different candelabras and everything. It's a really cool look. And people loved it in person last year. It was intimate. People were close with the orchestra. That intimacy will still be there. This multi-camera shoot on YouTube will feel you're very present with the orchestra. We'll be doing Beethoven's Violin Concerto, originally planned with violinist Richard Amoroso from the Philadelphia Orchestra. But because of COVID, he couldn't come out. So some artists have been able to, some artists have not been able to. So our concertmaster, Stefan Cepeda, who's been with us for 15 years, who was scheduled to do a solo work in January, we changed that to doing the Beethoven Violin Concerto. Perhaps the most epic violin concerto there is in terms of length, in terms of the writing. It's really one of the greatest masterpieces for violin. It's one of the hardest violin concertos, that's for sure. So he'll be doing that. And that's the second half. We will end with the concerto, which is rare. You usually put the concerto in the first half. But I'm going to end with the concerto. The first half is the namesake of the orchestra, Mozart by Candlelight. And so we'll do the Overture to the Marriage of Figaro, which is perhaps the most fun and well-known overture. You instantly hear the bassoons playing, and you hear it in car commercials, and instantly people know what it is, because it's a very funny opera, and so the overture captures that witty and humor, and then the second piece is the symphony. The old school programming was overture, concerto, intermission, symphony. We're not doing that. We're going to go overture, symphony, intermission, concerto. So we'll do the symphony second, and we're going to do Mozart's Symphony number 36. It's subtitled Linz. Linz is a town that Mozart and his wife Constance visited shortly after being married, despite Mozart's father, who was his mentor, Leopold, his disdain for Wolfgang Amadeus marrying Constance. And they were sort of on a honeymoon, traveling a bit, and they stopped in the city of Linz and stayed there. And he was so inspired. He was known to do this. He did this later in Prague. He did this with many of his operas, where he would fall in love with the city, because he never really scored big in Vienna as he had hoped. So he would fall in love with these other smaller cities and dedicate something to them or finish the opera there. There's a Prague Symphony number 38. The Marriage of Figaro was written in Prague. Linz was a city that he loved so much, and he loved how people treated him, so he wrote this very upbeat, exciting symphony for them. So it's a little honeymoon celebration, and so the first half is fun and upbeat and lighthearted, and then the second half has some more meat and more intense emotions with the Beethoven. So that's the Mozart by Candlelight.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think that's such a crowd favorite, and everybody should be tuning into that and looking forward to that. It's going to be very exciting. So obviously we've been streaming online, and we are meeting this challenge of innovation in these times of pandemic and people being so concerned with the world around them. And I hope that through this, the Helena Symphony has really grown and found positivity in this darkness. And I was hoping that you could speak about what we will carry with us after the pandemic and when this dark cloud has finally lifted on our community and our country.
Well, I'm not of the opinion that it's going to just be like a light switch that just all goes away. I just don't see that happening. Many orchestras close down thinking, well, when this is, we'll wait till it's back to normal. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's going to look like. So we could have waited and eventually lay off half the staff, lay off the orchestra. It's the highest paid orchestra in the state. We're one of the largest performing arts organization in the state, the largest in Helena. I just felt that we should not. I think we exist for this very reason. We exist for this pandemic. This is the exact reason why the Helena Symphony was founded in 1955, to change lives, to impact lives, to better lives, to help people grow emotionally, spiritually, I think physically, intellectually, psychologically. This is when we need that. We need this more than ever. So my goal was, how do we find a way? And so we're keeping the orchestra socially distant, only using 45 of the 78 players, plexiglass sound shields between winds and brass, non-wind and brass players wearing masks, and spreading out in a way that no audience is there as well, and bringing an innovative way to the online experience that's different. You're not just seeing the camera in the back of the hall, getting the whole shot as if you're sitting in the hall. No one wants to see the orchestra on even a big screen like that. You would want to experience it live. So 9 times out of 10, all the shots are from the reverse. You're seeing the conductor from the front. You're seeing the soloist close up. You're seeing the instruments playing as if you were literally inches from their hands or their face. It's a completely different experience. It's an innovative way to bring music. The audio quality is far better than you would be in the hall, because that hall, the Civic Center, was not meant. That was not why the building was designed. So no one has really ever heard the Helena Symphony Orchestra the way I hear it. So the sound engineer makes sure he's hearing it and he's miking it in the way from my perspective. So everybody's hearing it basically from my perspective. They hear it from as if they were standing on the podium. So, and even better. So people are experiencing the orchestra in a completely different way. So I think the fact that we're just there, we're present, we're in your homes, and all of the music we're doing, whether it's lighthearted, whether it's something more intense, we need this. We need to be in touch. Sometimes I think I have said, if you want to just be entertained, go to the circus. I don't think music is there just to entertain you. It can be entertaining, but I think music is there to make an impact. Music is there to change us. Sometimes it helps us tap into things that we might not want to. Mahler's music does that a lot. It's just so intense that we don't want to feel that. Sometimes it's just lighthearted and fun. Sometimes it's just noise, and that's all good too. Yeah. And I think we need this. I'm convinced of this. I've said this for decades before coronavirus. We're here to save people's lives with the Helena Symphony. We exist. The orchestra and the chorale, we exist to impact our people.
Definitely. And I think that one thing that gets lost sometimes, and just we're being so inundated with all of this music and Spotify and all these new ways of streaming music, that I think that classical music can sometimes get lost in the shuffle. And I think that it's so important to understand how relevant, especially when with our First Symphony Kids concert, talking about Beethoven and his life and the challenges that he went through and how he created beauty out of these challenges. And that speaks to everyone going through what we're going through right now and really just going through life. It's such a relatable and relevant thing that classical music embodies that is still applicable hundreds of years after the music is composed.
Right, and we're playing music, sometimes of music that was composed yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so I think what truly speaks to me about great art is usually it stands the test of time. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason we still listen to Beethoven with just the same freshness. We don't look at it as this old, white European dead man. it speaks to us. This is a man who wasn't very educated, and it grabs us by our gut, and reaches in and gets something primitive about us that we all connect on. Then we go to the last part of season 66, part 1, is the symphony, is the Christmas in the Cathedral, which has been around before I even was here at the symphony. It's been around for about almost 50 years, even longer, where the orchestra or the chorale or members of both are in this cathedral, and as we get closer to the holidays, and we do something really special. We traditionally have done Handel's Messiah, the complete work, even though it's not a Christmas work, but we do it every other year, or just other works. Because we can't socially distance a full orchestra and a full chorus, we decided we're just going to use the chorus with the specially created singer's mask. So people think, oh, singing could be, just like speaking can be difficult, but if you have a mask when you're speaking, you're good. If you have a mask when you are singing, it's a specially designed singer's mask. So the audio is still exactly the same. We've seen it demoed, but it juts out in a way that it doesn't touch their mouth or their nose. So we'll only be using 50 to comply with the county regulations, 50 of our 120 singers. And a special, mainly a cappella program. We'll use a cello and a harp and an organ here and there, but basically a cappella program on some really touching, very reflective works that are not just sacred or Christmassy, but that are sacred from a human perspective. They might be about the Christmas experience or the story, but they're more about how we as humans are connected in ways that we can't even speak to, and that we as a society and as generations of people are all intertwined. Our future and our past are all connected. So there's this whole sense about what it's like. I really tapped into the fact that there's been a lot of social unrest with the election things. People get when we're airing this or filming this right now, we don't know the results of the election. We haven't had it yet, but who knows where we'll be then. So some people will be upset, some people won't. It's a different feeling than previous elections. So between the social unrest, the economic hardships, and then this sense of that we all want to believe in something. We all, whether it's religion or whatever it is, or just humanity, we all want to hope.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm tapping into for that particular concert. So that will be Monday, December 7th at 7:30, where the Mozart by Candlelight is Saturday, November 14th at 7:30. And again, this is all free. There's no charge. It's on YouTube at the Helena Symphony YouTube, and you just watch it live. And people around the world, that's what blew my mind. 3,000 to 6,000, 7,000 people are watching around the world with you.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is people have been so generous and have wanted to support our music making and become part of the Helena Symphony family. There's a lot of ways that people can do that, whether you can contribute $5, whether you can contribute $500. I think that it's so touching to see how many people have supported us and really validated our mission and what we are trying to do through these online concerts by supporting us financially.
And we're saying that donors are saying, you're keeping musicians safe, you're keeping patrons safe, and you're still bringing artistic integrity to what you do. And they're saying, we're all in. I was meeting with major donors every 3 to 6 weeks on Zoom since it began. Mid-sized donors every couple months, to just let them know what we're doing, treating them like shareholders. Excuse me. And so this is how keeping those relationships is what has preserved us. And so we're doing very well, and our music making is going better than ever. And we encourage people, you need this music. Whether you've been a fan of the symphony or ever been to a symphony, you need this music more now than ever. So I would encourage people to go to YouTube, join us with our virtual concert hall. It's called Home Stream Your Helena Symphony. It's your Helena Symphony. It's presented by AARP Montana. They came to us and said, we want to be a part of something to keep people safe, and we're in. And it's buco bucks that we have to spend on this type of stuff. And so, our normal concerts cost us $40,000 to $60,000. We're in even more because of the live streaming is not cheap.
Definitely.
So thanks to AARP Montana for all they're doing with the Home Stream Your Helena Symphony presented by AARP Montana.
Definitely. And thank you to all of our other sponsors, to everyone watching from home, to everyone who's donated, who kept their subscriptions. It truly means the world to us. Thank you so much for making the time to sit down with us. Thank you to everybody for watching. This has been Symphony Preview.